Glattis Knight, Patti LaBelle, Shaka Khan, and Stephanie Mills are R&B queens. They have been entertaining audiences longer than many of us watching have been alive. They have outperformed and outlived their contemporaries and made it to legendary status. These icons in music have greatly influenced generations of entertainers that came after them. If you ask most of them, they will mention one, if not all, of these gifted women as musical inspirations. They are the blueprints, they set the standard, and they have long proven why they are the Empress of Soul, the Godmother of Soul, the Queen of Funk, and R&B royalty. With their legendary statuses cemented, these women have nothing left to prove, but they are still out here performing against their own wishes and their families. Thank you everyone for clicking on this video as we go into part 2 of the Forced to Tour saga. And we'll start with the one and only Empress of Soul, Miss Glattis Knight. Young Gladys first started singing when she was just 6 years old in the church, and later on in talent shows around her city and winning the top prize. She continued to sing as a child and a teen and formed a music group called the Pips. The group was a family affair that was comprised of Merrill Bubba Knight, Gladys's older brother, William Guest, and Edward Patton, Gladys and Bubba's cousin. The group's talent and sharp performances gained them notoriety as they would win every talent show they would enter. This attracted both good and bad attention. Glattis Knight shared a story of how the group got taken advantage of before they even got signed to a record deal. So the story goes, after winning yet another talent show, a record producer claiming to have just purchased new recording equipment and wanted to test out the sound, invites the group to come to his recording studio. The producer then asks the group to sing a few songs while he secretly records them. Mind you, Gladys and her group members are still in high school, so this guy is a jerk for taking advantage of their innocence. The group made the mistake of singing an original song. Fast forward a few weeks later, when Gladys returns to school and many of her classmates start coming up to her and telling her that they heard her on the radio and loved her new song. Gladys was so confused, and after school let out, she heard their song for the first time on the radio, and the group would later learn that the guy released the record without the group's permission, sold the masters to another record company. But the song Every Beat of My Heart became a #1 Billboard R&B hit for the group and their first top 10 on the Billboard 100.
That's how it started out for us, recording-wise, and it was like a rough road from that beginning on, as far as records were concerned. It was not a nice business.
This will become a reoccurring theme in both Gladys's professional and personal life. People coming in and taking advantage of her kindness, vulnerability, or relationship to her.
When I decided to go solo, after 40 years with the group, you know, we all grow up in different ways. And you have your ways of doing things, and I have my ways of doing things. I felt that the entertainment life was distracting us from the way that we started out, being so dedicated to what we needed to do. Plus, I had a family, and I didn't have a two-partner family like you guys do. It was just me. I have been nursing babies, going on stage and ask somebody to hold them. Y'all don't go through what I go through. And I came up with the idea of just, hey, let me just go and see what I could do on my own.
Glattis Knight's solo run came with a lot of private hardships, raising 3 children as a single mother, and for all of those people who say if she only got married first, she did. Her first husband, who is the father of her 2 eldest children, abandoned the family for his drug habit and passed away at 35 years old. The second husband is Barry Hankerson. Enough said. There is plenty of info about his shady ways that we will not be getting into in this video. And Gladys said none of her children's fathers paid child support or contributed in any meaningful way. So with the weight of her no longer having the comfort of her group, because remember, this wasn't random people thrown together to make a group, this was a real family that went their separate ways. And the stress of being the sole provider for her and her children, Gladys turned to gambling to distract her from the pressures. Knight had a gambling addiction that lasted more than a decade. In the late 80s, after losing $60,000 in one night at the Baccarat table, she credits God first and Gamblers Anonymous second for helping her quit her habit. Gladys Knight has recorded over 38 albums. This includes the album she recorded with her group Glattis Knight and the Pips. She has sold several million records worldwide and has earned 7 Grammy Awards in her 6 decades-long career. It was recently announced that Gladys Knight would be joining Stephanie Mills, Patti LaBelle, and Shaka Khan on the Queen's tour when her youngest son, Shanga Hankerson, did an interview with the Shade Room's Justin Carter, accusing his mom's fourth husband, William McDowell, who is significantly younger than the singer, of elderly abuse.
She's being made to think that she needs to work. And what that means is that he's not going to be present with her.
Shanga Hankerson is the product of her second marriage to music executive Barry Hankerson and the uncle of the late great singer and actress Aaliyah. Aaliyah's mom Diane and Barry are siblings, making Shanga Aaliyah's cousin and Gladys Knight her aunt. Fun fact, Aaliyah got to perform with her famous aunt when she was just 11 years old when Gladys Knight did a brief Las Vegas residency.
I just knew that her star was rising and going to go even further because she was amazing, in my opinion, in film. And the camera loved her.
Now, it should be noted that William McDowell is also Gladys Knight's manager. Y'all successful women are going to get enough of making these husbands of yours managers. It almost never works out in the woman's favor, but I digress. William McDowell was a corporate consultant before he and Knight tied the knot, after only dating for 3 months. But she met him 10 years prior to them dating. From what I could tell, Gladys is his only client. So I find it odd that he hasn't joined his wife and client on tour, unless he has health issues of his own or some other obligations that prevents him from traveling with her. The couple have been married for 24 years, and according to Shanga, he noticed a cognitive decline in his mother's health for years now, and it was horrifyingly apparent to him that her condition is worsening when he attended one of the shows on the Queen's tour.
The band played about, I'd say maybe about 2 or 3 extra bars, okay? And she zoned out. The background singer started singing. And that brought her back. They're having to rewind the teleprompters because my mom is forgetting to even look at them.
And a lot of Gladys Knight's fans who attended these shows agree with her son. Here are some of the comments I found online. I saw her in concert about 2.5 months ago, Queen's tour, and I noticed all the behaviors her son is mentioning. There were a few times she forgot lyrics and the background singers lovingly filled in, and she was able to pick up in the song. Her beautiful smile made me feel honored to be in her presence. Just saw her at Hampton VA concert in July 2025. I told my family she needs to retire. I saw clear signs of dementia. Shaka wasn't at this concert. Stephanie Mills stole the show. Patti kept complaining about how hot it was. Patti barely sang, "Please, Gladys, hang up your mic. You will always be loved." I'm so glad her son is speaking out because I saw her earlier this year and it was clear Miss Knight is not okay. She was confused. Her background singers had to finish songs. Quite a few people walked out. Let that legend rest. Her son is 100% right. When I saw her in Nashville, I was concerned. As she was leaving the stage, I saw her fragility and I actually started crying. I stand with her son. So I went to her show in Greensboro, North Carolina last Friday, and I hate to agree with her son, but I couldn't believe my eyes. She was indeed having a lot of moments where she stopped singing, and it appeared she forgot the lyrics, and her backup singers would grab her hand and start singing so she could pick up. She also was standing next to her backup singer, holding on to them as if they were her safe place. And not to add, she came out with a winter coat on, zipped all the way up, wasn't dressed like she is in this video. Her set was only about 15 to 20 minutes, and I wanted to cry watching her. She should not have performed that night. And then when it was time for her to get off the stage, she started singing again out of nowhere, and her backup singers literally had to grab her and lead her off the stage. It was like she didn't want to get off the stage. In this interview, Shanga also details another incident that happened to Gladys while traveling on this tour.
Somewhere she didn't know. I guess she saw a hotel and figured that's where she was supposed to go. And one of the employees at the hotel recognized her. She couldn't answer any of her questions, as far as, well, what are you doing here? Are you working? Where are you coming from? Are you a guest at the hotel? Is there anybody we can call? My mom could not answer this person at all. She couldn't answer any of her questions.
That's a really scary thought, that Gladys was all alone just wandering around and no one in her camp noticed that she disappeared. And when he confronted William McDowell over the incident, he learned through text messages that his mom is suffering from a condition known as sundown syndrome. And for those of you not familiar with the condition, I'll let Dr. Frida break it down.
I'm Dr. Frida, and here are 5 things to know about sundown syndrome. 1. Sundown syndrome, or sundowning, refers to the behaviors and thoughts that people with dementia might experience as the sun starts to set. It is a delirium or a confusion that typically starts or gets worse as the sun is setting, but it actually can occur at any time of the day. 2. 20% of patients with Alzheimer's disease, which is a type of dementia, will experience sundowning, and it usually begins during the mid to late stages of the dementia. 3. Symptoms of sundowning may include confusion, insomnia, pacing or wandering away, anxiety, hallucinations, violent behaviors, fear, irritability, paranoia. 4. What triggers sundowning? What makes it worse? Sleep deprivation is a big one. So being thrown off of your sleep-wake cycle. So someone who is traveling, performing, up late all times of night, who's not on their regular sleep schedule, this could certainly be a trigger for sundowning. Other triggers include infection, the side effects of some medications, dehydration, and overstimulation. 5. What is the treatment for sundown syndrome? Well, avoiding the triggers I just mentioned is an important one. Also, making sure that the patient is around familiar objects, photos. This helps to keep the patient oriented. Making sure that the environment is light during the day and dark during night is another good way. In some cases, medications are helpful, like antidepressants, anti-anxiety meds, or even antipsychotic meds. If you learned something new, please click the follow or subscribe button and visit drfrida.com.
So Shanga took this information and promptly filed a complaint with Health and Human Services with the state of North Carolina, as he should, to launch an investigation into what's happening to his mom while on this tour.
And on that note, we asked the state about that. North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services telling us the complaints are confidential and that they do not comment on investigations.
Now, the state couldn't confirm or deny the existence of the complaint, but Shanga provided text messages from McDowell in response to the complaint, as well as a statement from Ms. Glattis Knight herself, allegedly, and her publicist.
Quote, "What in God's name would possess you to do such an evil thing and ruin a week of laughter and fun for your mother and her grandkids and great-grandkids? I told you the door is open anytime for you to come and check on your mom. She's happy and loved, and all she wants is happiness and peace. Our lives are not long. Just let these years be in peace. I want to move forward. What I'm saying to you is that sending the cops and the social service people over here will endanger what she's trying to maintain. Anything other than that is irrelevant to me. Just love her. Take care of her. And whatever you guys want to do, just let me know. I'm happy to support it." End quote.
In a statement to ABC News, Gladtis Knight responding, saying, "I'm sorry that my health and performances have been misrepresented. I am doing very well for someone who has been on stage for 3/4 of a century," adding, "I'm healthy and happy." William McDowell also telling us he's letting Knight's statement speak for the situation and won't be making any additional comments.
Gladys Knight's publicist, Laura Herlovic, also debunked the rumors, telling the Post that the legendary singer and her team are quote-unquote greatly saddened by Shanga's unfounded allegations, especially as he's had no substantial contact with her. At this time, our lawyers have no choice but to explore any and all legal remedies due to Shanga's defamatory comments. Now, 2 things I would like to address, friends. One is that every publication, including the Shade Room, felt the need to bring up the fact that Gladys Knight had to sue her son in the past. I believe to discredit what he's saying now and to make us question his intentions. And it's working because many commentators are side-eyeing Shanga even speaking on this situation given his history, and the fact that the purpose of running to the media is to absolutely sabotage this tour because he doesn't want his mom touring another day. One commentator says Shanga wants the money to himself. He doesn't care, in my opinion. It wasn't an issue when he was taking advantage of his mom, but don't let her husband do it. He should be begging for his mom's forgiveness. Shanga is his father's son. He doesn't care about her well-being. He just wants to take over and put her in a conservatorship so he can have full access to her money. He thinks he's slick, trying to accuse her husband of abuse and forcing her tour. Now, this comment is interesting, being that the name says Joshua McDowell. Could this person be related to William McDowell? Could this be William McDowell?
Shanga pleading guilty to charges involving the now shuttered restaurant Glattis Knight's Chicken and Waffles in Atlanta after failing to pay more than $1 million in payroll taxes. His mom lent her famous name to the business, but later suing to have it removed and won.
Shanga had no business putting his mom's name on a food truck without proving that he could run and maintain a successful restaurant on his own merit, because anything negative regarding that restaurant destroys her reputation that she took decades to build. And even though he made some serious mistakes and did time for it, that doesn't mean that he can't speak up in his mom's defense, because if you look back at the text messages between Shanga and William also brings up the restaurant fiasco, I think, to make him back down. Now, when I played Justin reading the text messages, he skips over this section, but for some reason, it wasn't blurred out. I believe this was intentional. If you're familiar with the Shade Room, they get real messy over there, and I saw something even more damning in this exchange. But let's look at this. So he says, "This is just a repeat of what happened when you had the restaurant. There is nothing but good here. Be a part of it." Now, when we go to the next part, they highlight the portion they want us to focus on, but they don't edit out the top part, and they say struggle. I believe the financial part got cut off, and we're left with struggle, and we were greatly in debt. These are facts. And I think he's telling the truth, because Yahoo Finance did an in-depth article where they were combing through her assets and valued her net worth at $28 million. As you can see, the date of this article is May 25th, 2022. Fast forward to today, and many publications put her net worth between $5 and $8 million. That's a hell of a drop if these figures are accurate. All I know is it's nasty work to have your 81-year-old spouse touring and you're not even by her side, and you're younger and seemingly able-bodied. He may not have the same earning potential as Gladys, but oh well. Has she not worked hard enough for decades? And I thought Shanga's complaint got the intervention that Gladys needed when I saw the rest of the queens promoting the tour without Gladys, but no.
So that's why she's not with us today?
Yeah, she's rehearsing.
Because she has other jobs.
Other jobs? Plural? I'm sorry, but her husband needs to step up and explain why the Gladys Knight has multiple jobs at this stage of her life. It's giving...
My man has 2 jobs.
Because I saw this posted on social media, and it's Gladys without the rest of the queens. And I was like, so is she off the tour now, since she's not helping to promote the tour either? Well, not quite. I'll let Queen Patti explain it.
Gladys Knight is a part of this show too.
Most people don't know that she's doing work on her other tour now, so she's not with us today. But she'll be there September 19th when we start the Queen's Tour.
Gladys Knight is doing 2 tours simultaneously. She's performing with the queens, and then she's off doing her own solo tour. And the crazy thing is, we really have no way of knowing if this is Gladys' idea or that husband. So recently, People magazine wrote an article about her husband, and I found a few things about him very interesting. First, he quit that consulting job right away after they got married to manage Gladys' career. Barry Hankerson was also her manager when they were together. Secondly, he got to add songwriter to his resume by collaborating on a song titled "This Is Our Time," which Gladys Knight sang at the 2002 Winter Olympics opening ceremony. In 2021, he became a published author. He co-wrote a book with a robust title called The One: How to Grow and Thrive While Feeding Your Soul and Impacting Others. A how-to guide that's supposed to teach the reader how to fulfill their role as a designated leader who can dominate every area of their lives. This has the stench of alpha male written all over it in 102 pages. The pamphlet can be purchased on Amazon. And during the pandemic, he dropped the sophomore album Perfect Vision 2020 after leaving his fans wanting more when he released his debut album Bending of Trees in 2011. The lead single is titled Country Water, and he cast Miss Gladys as his leading lady. So with all of Mr. McDowell's creative endeavors, he's what I like to call a slash artist. Co-author / songwriter / music artist, But even with all these titles to his name, at the end of the day,
You ain't got no job, man!
and Gladys has at least 2, maybe more. And we may never know how she feels about all of this, because she's clearly not doing interviews. The queens are doing their rounds at all the major outlets to promote the tour. Gladys isn't there, so reporters can't ask any questions or maybe even see for themselves her being in alleged mental decline. And I watched hours of interviews, and they just ask the queens the same simple questions over and over again. They don't bring up Shanga's accusations at all to get the ladies' take on the situation, and I'm sure they were told ahead of time not to ask any questions about Gladys Knight or her health, but I'm shocked that at least one reporter or radio host hasn't gone rogue and just asked. Hell, they'd at least go viral for getting cussed out. This was the only interview with Gladys included that I could find since Shanga made his accusations.
Joining us from all the way from North Carolina is our 4th queen, Mrs. Gladys Knight.
Yes. Gladys.
Hey, baby. Gladys. Good morning to you. You know, we've been talking about
Good morning.
Yes, we've been talking about how electrifying the show is. Miss Gladys, what is your favorite part of this show?
My favorite part of it?
Mm-hmm.
Being able to hang out with my girls.
Yay! Where my girls at? Where my girls at?
So that's what we do. I go in her house, she come in my house.
I love that.
You know how we are.
Yes.
We got to know everything.
Miss Knight, the show, it's called the Queen's Tour, appropriately titled. How does it feel personally, like performing at this point in your life, still in front of tens of thousands every night?
You like having fun?
It feels good.
Yeah.
It feels good, doesn't it?
It does. It really does.
Yes, yes, yeah.
And I've been knowing my sister right here and right there for a long time.
Yeah, yes.
We set that up way over there.
Sure did.
Oh, yes.
I just want to hear you guys all
They're my sisters.
chat with each other. We just want to sit back and let you guys talk.
Sisters.
What you say?
She said she's known us
And
for a
we've been-
long time.
For a long time.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
60
We set that up a long time ago,
Yeah.
she said.
Because neither one of us want to say goodbye.
Right.
So let's take inventory of the situation. We have a manager/husband sending her on multiple tours while slashing through her net worth allegedly. Her son out here making allegations of elder abuse, fans coming out to co-sign what he's saying, and friends of hers that boast of decades-long friendship have nothing to say about her condition, and people say they don't feel bad for these artists, but this is terrible because who's looking out for Gladys without anything to gain? But I actually did find one short clip that I can't play because it's from The Breakfast Club and they don't play about their content. They flag everything, so I'll play the audio. But let me briefly explain what's taking place because the clip is noisy. So Charlemagne and DJ Envy both asked the ladies about Gladys Knight, and Patti LaBelle and Shaka answer the question at the same time, so they're talking over each other. Patti explains that Gladys is doing duo tours, while Shaka tells DJ Envy this may be the last time we see Gladys on stage. I hope not. I'm going to let y'all hear the audio, and I'll be sure to link this interview in the description box as well as the interview Shanga did with the Shade Room. But here's the audio.
And
This may be the last time we ever see her
another
on
show
stage.
that she's
I hope
doing,
not.
so that's why she's not with us today.
Yeah.
So I asked friends, do we have a moral obligation to withhold our money and not support this? I'm not talking about the Queen's Tour because I'm sure concert goers aren't just going for Gladys, but to see all the ladies. And for what I'm hearing, her stage time on the tour ranges from 15 to 30 minutes, probably depending on how she feels that night. But these side shows that she's doing a full-on performance. Even though we are fans of these artists and we want to support them and even get a chance to experience their artistry before they are no longer with us, do we play a part in their exploitation? Because as long as the demand is there, which it is, they will keep supplying her and making money off of her for as long as they can. One of her fans had this to say: I saw her in concert 2 years ago and she was showing clear signs of dementia. My mother and I mentioned it to each other and both said that while she remembers the music and the songs, we felt uncomfortable. It's the reason I didn't buy tickets to the latest tour. She deserves her rest. But another fan had a different take on older artists still touring. This fan writes, but why do you think she wants to take a rest? The woman is very up in age. I would imagine she still loves performing, and to think that people want older people's lives to stop. She's been performing on her life. I think at this point she's doing it for the love of it. It's a shame that people want elderly people to sit down, lay down, and die. Shame, shame, shame. So I don't think anybody wishes for these artists to lay down and die. But if it's become too much for the artists, then they should absolutely retire. There's nothing wrong with that, and it's best to walk away at your best. This is what a lot of her fans will remember of her, is these performances. And she is known from her days of being in a group for having very polished shows. I think having her out here in this state taints her legacy. But at the end of the day, her voice is still phenomenal.
She was like, if I'm not ever able to do this anymore, you got to be the one to stop it. And I said, well, what do you mean? And I said, what, you're working, you're performing? And she was like, yeah.
So before we start, can we get into how amazing Stephanie Mills looks? She is 68 years young, and honestly, all these women look so good. But in doing research for this video, I watched several recent uploads of Stephanie Mills' live performances from the Queen's tour, and she is so energetic and just seems so happy from start to finish, and she's perfection. And y'all already know she can blow. Fun fact, I had the privilege of seeing Stephanie Mills and Patti LaBelle live. It was a complete surprise because neither artist were expected to perform. I don't even want to say who the artists were that I actually came to see because they were both awful live. But Stephanie Mills and Patti LaBelle showing up was the highlight of the show. And I remember thinking how blessed I felt to be in the room and to be able to say that I got to see and hear both these legends live. It was an incredible experience that I will never forget. So it's not lost on me the importance of supporting artists when they tour and to be able to give them their flowers while they are still here. But back to Miss Mills. In 2017, it was announced that Stephanie Mills had to fire her manager Hiram Hicks for theft. So this article I found is from the New York Daily News, and it reads, R&B star and actress Stephanie Mills has reportedly put an end to her business relationship with music mogul Hiram Hicks after accusing him of messing with her money. The 60-year-old vocalist who headlined a sold-out Mother's Day concert at the Tropicana showroom in Atlantic City, New Jersey on Sunday told the New York Daily News that she fired Hicks the following day. Hicks, the former president of Island Black Music, has been managing Mills for the past 3.5 years. Oftentimes when this happens to an artist, they're embarrassed and don't want anyone to know, Mills told the paper. But according to Mills, as a single mother raising a special needs son, she feels a need to show strength where she feels that she's been wronged. She says she's disappointed because she trusted Hicks. Mills also went on to say that Universal Attractions will oversee all of her performance dates and concert bookings for the time being. Mills says she's weighing her legal options against Hicks and plans to use this opportunity to teach younger artists about the industry. I decided to come forward to share this because I want to empower other artists to pay attention to their business affairs, she said. She says she's grateful that her own business acumen led her to suspect that there was problems in her dealings with Hicks, which led to the severance. Hicks, meanwhile, is denying the story. Your information is incorrect, he wrote in an email. Miss Mills and I have an ongoing working relationship. This guy was in total denial. I couldn't find anything on her suing him to recoup the money that was taken. Maybe she just took the loss, or maybe they made an arrangement outside of court. But Stephanie Mills hired a new manager, Tony Amp Harris, and he allegedly did her just as dirty. Take a look at this.
She begged me to manage her.
I did,
never wanted
7 times.
No, 10. On the 10th one.
I said, I got a trick for him.
On the 10th one, I agreed to do it because, again, because I look at what Stephanie means to R&B. I look at what Stephanie means to music.
Yeah.
And I always said she never got her credit.
Yeah. And now she's getting that and more. What I also love about the relationship is then you become a father figure for Farhad.
No, ma'am, absolutely not. Respectfully, this is a problem. His job is to manage her career, not play stepdad. Because now he done got too familiar and allegedly did things while he was managing her because he probably thought, I'm like a father figure to her son. I'm in there. And she did look at this man like family, and you can't have it both ways. You got to keep those boundaries intact. And granted, they did have a history. He was her promoter for years, and it looks like he should have remained as such. And that's because in February 2024, Mills filed a breach of contract lawsuit against former manager Tony Amp Harris in the U.S. District Court for Southern District of Indiana. The case details Mills versus Harris was filed on February 9, 2024. The allegations are that he made a breach of contract and she seeks to recover money that Mills claims was misappropriated. Her attorneys made a statement and said that litigation had commenced and they were determined to recover each dollar misappropriated from their client.
And the hardest thing for me as an artist, I don't know about anybody else, is to find out that you're just a dollar. You're just a dollar sign to people, that they really don't really care about you.
Stephanie Mills has recorded 16 studio albums. She has sold 30 million records worldwide and has won Grammy for Best Female R&B Vocal for Never Knew Love Like This Before. Stephanie Mills began her professional career at just 9 years old, appearing in the Broadway musical Maggie Flynn. And fun fact, at just 11 years old, she won Amateur Night at the Apollo 6 weeks straight, which is an impressive feat because the Apollo Theater is known to be ruthless. Kids get booed too.
So let's bring out our next contestant, Lauryn Hill.
Treat you bad and wrong, my dear. And boy, since you went away, don't you know I sit around with my head hanging down, and I wonder who's loving you.
Stephanie got her big break when she was cast as Dorothy Gale in the Broadway musical The Wiz. Her rendition of Home from the musical became a #1 R&B hit. During the 80s, she racked up 4 more #1 hits. I Have Learned to Respect the Power of Love, I Feel Good All Over, You're Putting a Rush on Me, and Something in the Way You Make Me Feel. In 2025, Billboard magazine named her one of the best R&B singers of all time, coming in at number 52 on their list. Stephanie is such a big draw as a live performer that she's been able to consistently pack audiences all throughout the decades till present day. She cites touring, publishing, and newer artists sampling her records as consistent revenue streams for her.
Because you've always been vocal about ownership and independence in music, and it seems like a lot of younger artists are starting to do that now, but who taught you that so early on?
I've always been one to sit back and just watch and observe, and like I've been like a sponge. And then people, like my first agent was Buddy Howe at William Morris, and he taught me a lot. And I never wanted to be one of those artists that wound up with no money, a raggedy car, this. I never wanted to be that. So I've always made sure that I was covered in some way and lived a certain way so that I could live that way for the rest of my life, because it's not how well you live, it's how long you live well. Ooh. It is.
So when it comes to Stephanie Mills, it seems that the people that she has hired to help her to maintain her wealth, unfortunately can't be trusted. I do hope good, honest people come into her life and that she's not too jaded by these betrayals to miss out on true professionals that can help her to retain and grow her earnings. You gotta be a special kind of evil to prey on an elderly woman that is the sole caretaker for her special needs child. Luckily, performing still brings her so much joy. Many people on social media have been raving about how great of a show she puts on, so as long as she's able to perform, audiences will continue to show up and show love.
What would you like your legacy to be?
I would like it to be that I gave love, I gave understanding, and that I was proud of who I was and who I am.
Now, out of all the queens featured in this video, this queen doesn't have to tour. She performs for the love of music. She's been involved in a few petty lawsuits back in the day. In 2010, Patti LaBelle yelled at a woman and spilled water on her baby. Ironically, this moment of chaos erupted in the lobby of the Trump Place Apartments in Manhattan. LaBelle agreed to a settlement of $100,000 to avoid a trial. The family of the wet baby donated the money to charity. In 2011, a West Point cadet filed a civil suit against LaBelle after he was allegedly assaulted by her bodyguards at George Bush Intercontinental Airport in Houston, Texas. King alleged that LaBelle's entourage attacked him, causing a concussion. LaBelle's entourage says that he provoked the attack. King lost his court case after 5 days of testimony. King was suspended from the U.S. Military Academy. He sued LaBelle and her bodyguard for assault, seeking $1 million in civil court. LaBelle filed a countersuit. Both suits were eventually dismissed. LaBelle's bodyguard was acquitted of misdemeanor assault on November 12, 2013, stemming from the incident. Neither of these lawsuits did anything to chip away at the empire that Patti LaBelle has built for herself. As I said earlier, I had the privilege of seeing her perform live unexpectedly, and I'm getting chills right now just talking about it. She is one of the few artists that sound even better live than on the record, and it's hard to fathom because she sounds flawless on her albums. And can we get into her stage presence, how she talks and engages to the audience in between songs?
It's gonna be one of those nights that I am not gonna hold my stomach in no more. Held it in for the last 20 minutes. Gonna be holding my stomach in for what? What you see is what you get, honey. I can't hold the note and hold my stomach at the same time. So I'm gonna let it all hang out. I want you to know I'm not one of those little skinny girls. I'm not one of those little skinny, cute, good singers. We have a lot of them in this business. They're cute, they're little, and they sing well. Like little Mariah, little Whitney, little Celine, little Shania, little Erica, little Brandy, all those little girls, little Tony. Well, I'm Big Patty, honey. I'm here to represent. I'm here to represent the full-figured woman. Yes, I am.
Come on, how can you not love Patti LaBelle? She is one of a kind. Her voice is a powerful, dramatic soprano that even the strongest vocalists in the industry don't want to go up against.
Will we ever work together?
I'm not. No. I will not be singing with Miss Thing.
Yes, she will too.
No.
Yes, she will.
No. I've been on stage with her before.
We did something together.
When she comes through town, you know, we show
She'll
up.
come out.
And she's come out to one of my shows. I was in Philly. I'll never forget it. I just gave Sister the microphone and moved on.
That's right. At the Spectrum.
Absolutely.
But we have fun singing together. I mean, we compliment each other. We do. We're going to do something else together.
So a little background on Miss LaBelle. Her government name is Patricia Louise Holt, but she is known to the world as Patti LaBelle. Patti LaBelle has recorded 18 studio albums and 3 live albums. She has sold 50 million records worldwide and has won 2 Grammy Awards. Patti LaBelle has been anointed the godmother of soul. When many aging superstars shun the artists coming behind them, Patti LaBelle has embraced them all, as long as they are talented.
Yes, there are a lot of young singers who will have staying power. I believe that the proof is in the pudding. If you can't sing, stay home. But if you can afford all those props and things, which a lot of these kids do, prop it up, boo-boo. But you ain't singing.
But you ain't singing,
You ain't singing.
At the end
No,
of the
they
day,
know
it's
that.
the voice.
They know what they have and what they don't.
From Mariah Carey, who is her goddaughter, to Fantasia, Jennifer Hudson, Christina Aguilera, Ariana Grande, Meg Thee Stallion, Patti LaBelle has mentored so many and imparted her wisdom and knowledge of the business.
And they do get information because we've been on the road for all our lives. And things that we've been through, we could let them know that you might have to go through this. And you might be lucky. And you don't have to do it.
And even with a beautiful voice, an iconic look, charisma, and wit, it still wasn't enough, as Patti LaBelle had to face Hollywood standards of beauty, and she inevitably succumbed to its pressures.
When you decided that you wanted to get your nose job, I know you said you didn't like your nose personally, but were things being said to you as well?
Yes.
By who and what?
By a manager that I had. Yeah, it was a manager that I had back in the day, a white gentleman. And he said so many things to me. But whenever I sang, he said, "My God." I said, "Is it all right if I keep this nose?" You know, things like that. And he was just mean. And I just said, "I'll do it," once I saw her. Yeah.
Sadly, she believes the nose job opened doors for her in her career, and maybe it did. She credits Stephanie Mills, who gave her the courage to go through with it. Stephanie also admits to getting this work done, and she was inspired by Michael Jackson. This was an insecurity of Patti's even before her manager suggested it, but the overreach of these managers has to be studied. Are y'all seeing the reoccurring theme with these managers overstepping their bounds? Her professional career began in the 60s as the lead singer of Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells. In 1984, LaBelle began a solo career and was cranking out the hits If Only You Knew, Love, Need and Want You, New Attitude, Stir It Up, On My Own, a duet with Michael McDonald, and If You Ask Me To, just to name a few. Patti LaBelle is also an actress, starring on sitcoms such as A Different World, Out All Night, Star, and guest starring in American Horror Story Freak Show. And if her plate wasn't already full, she decided to turn her other passion of cooking into a profitable business. She released a series of cookbooks sharing with the world her family recipes. And in 2015, she went viral when she announced that she would be selling her pies at Walmart all across the U.S.
James Wright's video has received more than 4 million views on YouTube, and the Patti LaBelle pies then began flying off shelves at Walmart. The pies were the most requested item on Walmart wish lists at the end of November and one of the top trending searches on its website. As a result of demand, Walmart now plans to stock these pies year-round.
We sold, as soon as we print them out, that same day we sold out of them. Phone calls of people asking, can you hold me some? People wanting 5, 6 at a time. So yes, they sold out pretty fast.
And her partnership with Walmart is still growing strong. She announced on The Breakfast Club that her line of pancake syrup will debut around the Thanksgiving holiday. Miss Patti LaBelle has her own page right here on YouTube where she shows off her cooking skills and shares behind the scenes footage of her life with her fans. When asked why she still performs after everything she has accomplished, she has this to say.
You are still grinding, still going. Is it one of those things where you're just going to keep on going until, you know?
Honey, let me tell you, I can't stop. I'm 74, and I know that there's 74 more years in me to stay on that stage. I'm not retiring. I can't do anything like that.
In fact, is that the secret? Because I've interviewed Tony Bennett, I've interviewed William Shatner. All these folks are, older than you.
We had Darlene Love on yesterday.
Darlene Love.
Oh,
and it seems to me the secret is just to not stop.
You can't stop. You know, it's in me. I can never stop singing or performing. You know, that's what I do.
Out of all the artists that I have researched, there is one who consistently made it known that they do not care to keep touring.
Are you able now to sort of take a breath and really enjoy the fact that so many people want to celebrate what you've done?
How about I can now sit back and look at some good movies and spend some time with my grandchildren, plant some flowers.
In 2023, Shaka Khan told Rolling Stone magazine, "I will not do another tour. I got this rich-ass life. I'll do dates, but it won't look like a tour," the R&B icon told Rolling Stone in a recent interview that was published in December of 2023. And I really, truly love her honesty. It's so refreshing. And it shouldn't be a surprise. As a mother of 2, she spent a lot of time on the road, missing quality time and important milestones with her children.
It was most difficult to leave my daughter. You know, I took her when I could. She used to climb in a suitcase when I was packing. Heartbreaking stuff. Heartbreaking stuff.
Your life have you spent backstage in arenas like this one?
Half of it.
Half of your life?
Half of my life.
And I can't be mad at her for feeling this way, or the other women in this video, or the other ladies from my previous video. They all have given so much to the world, and they deserve to spend this portion of their life doing whatever they want to do, even touring if they still feel called to do it. But by all accounts, Miss Shaka Khan seems to be very much over it. Born Yvette Marie Stevens, we all know her by her stage name Shaka Khan.
My name was Chaka Adunia Adufeyi Muya Hodari Karifi. Khan came from my first husband, from India.
Wow. Well, it goes together well.
It does. It works better than Yvette Stevens.
Shaka Khan was born and raised on the south side of Chicago. Fun fact about your friend of a friend, my uncle went to high school with Shaka Khan, and they both were in band class together, and Shaka played the flute. But her days in band or high school didn't last long, as she dropped out of school at 16, ran away from home, lived in a commune, and joined the Black Panthers. Miss Shaka Khan has lived. In the early 70s, she became the lead vocalist of the funk band Rufus, and the rest is pretty much history. The group turned Shaka Khan into a household name, and she inevitably dropped the group and went solo.
You've been sampled by everybody, from Kanye to Mary J. Blige.
Yeah, if everybody paid up, it'd be nice.
Even with all her accomplishments and respect from industry peers, she had a much publicized bout with alcohol and drugs. We've watched drugs ravage even the best singer's God-given gift, and Shaka Khan, even in the depths of her addiction, her gift was still very much intact. Y'all watch this.
Tonight, oh, take my hand, precious love, lead me on.
Standing up there higher than tariff prices, and her voice was just so effortless. Even Miss Gladys and Miss Etta James had to look over like that high-singing heifer. She killed that performance, even in that state. So I'm sure her drug habit is one of the reasons that kept her on tour all these years. Nothing burns through a musician's well faster than a drug habit. Not to mention, Shaka got one of those industry pep talks. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me refresh everyone's memory.
Yeah, that reminds me of the time I had a manager once that said to me, you know, you're worth more money dead than alive. Okay, so I am just, by the grace of God, stand-eye here, because I could have easily, because of a lot of pressure from the label I was with at the time. I went through a really, really rough time where I didn't want to go outside, didn't want to be seen, didn't want to be around. I really didn't.
It's crazy that Pierce Morgan didn't even bat an eye, which lets me know that these kind of pep talks must be pretty common. I mean, can you imagine someone that works for you telling you, you know what, we could really get to the bag if you were up out of here, like what? And I went and looked up the job duties of a music manager. Feel free to pause the video because I won't be reading any of it, but you'll find that it says nothing about threatening your clients to get more work out of them. It does say advise the artist on brand image, but I think recommending a nose job is doing too much, even though at this point body modification is almost an expectation, or allegedly taking a little money for yourself from time to time when the spirit of greed moves you. But as it pertains to Shaka, I hope she immediately cursed whoever that manager was clean out, fired them, and got a restraining order, because that is a bold admission. It's no wonder she turned to drugs and alcohol. The industry is a dirty game, and she took it a step further and exposed this
machine around us, this so-called music industry, is such a demonic thing. It sacrifices people's lives and their essences at the drop of a dime.
And in my opinion, I think this is what keeps most artists on the road and still going, just proving their worth for as long as they can, so the powers that be don't get any bright ideas. I really wish we could speak more freely on this platform. Hopefully y'all understand what I'm implying but not outright saying. Financially, she seems to be doing well. Her net worth is estimated to be anywhere from 10 to 30 million. That's right, Shaka, keep the pocket watchers confused. She was sued by a former manager in 2019. This manager worked for Shaka between 2013 and 2017. So per TMZ, Shaka Khan's scorned ex-manager wants the singer to tell her something good by cutting a fat check for money her manager claims she's owed. According to a lawsuit obtained by TMZ, Olasambu Kuti claims she was hired to be Shaka's manager in 2013, and she says when she was fired in 2017, Shaka owed her a huge sum of money that was never paid out. In the docs, Kuti claims Shaka owes her $236,000 for her business and personal management services. That's not all. Kuti claims she owns 5% of 3 of Shaka's businesses, and Kuti is also asking the court to award her a small slice of ownership. Kuti says she did wonders for Shaka's bottom line during her time as her manager, but Kuti says when Shaka cleaned house a few years ago, she was screwed out of a huge chunk of change.
You always had a reputation of not taking no shit from what I've been told.
That's exactly true.
Yeah.
She looked like she's
rough.
She
I don't have time.
beat your ass.
Ain't no time. You know, life is short. It's no time. So honesty, integrity, all those things are very important to me.
One of the businesses outside of music that Shaka Khan has is a hair care line that I didn't know about until now. This makes sense as Shaka is just as well known for her big fabulous hair as her big voice. So she teamed up with her longtime stylist, George Robert Fuller, and they created a line of clip-ins, bundles, and wigs for indie hair. I was wondering why we didn't hear more about the line because the pieces look really good until I saw them prices. But you know, if you got the coin, show our auntie some love. The website is shakabyindique.com. I don't have a discount code or nothing for you. This ad is not sponsored. Shaka Khan has kicked her habit for the most part. I say that because sobriety is really a daily challenge, but she seems committed to her sobriety and clean living. She attributes her weight loss to a vegan diet. We've lost so many stars to addiction. I'm so happy that Shaka Khan is still here, healthy, beautiful, and thriving. Living to be her age is a privilege that many people aren't granted, but to see her 70s after a hard partying lifestyle Shaka Khan was once known for is a blessing. Shaka Khan may be over touring, but she's not over creating and making music.
Busy because you're working on new music with singer-songwriter Sia. What's the mindset when you're putting new music out there?
New songs. Yeah. It's just nice to have new. It's like, you know, it's nice that you need new stuff sometimes. You know, it makes me happy to have new stuff to sing, you know.
And I'm glad that she still has a love for music and creation, and the industry hasn't ruined that for her. But I do hope that she finally gets to retire. As I stated earlier, my uncle went to school with Shaka Khan and he's retired. And I'm sure when she signed on that dotted line back when she was underage actually, Shaka Khan had to get married so she could get around parental consent to sign her first record deal, and I'm sure she never thought in a million years she'd be in her 70s still doing full-on tours. I do hope that Shaka Khan gets that quality time with her grandchildren and great-grandchildren. She sacrificed then so she can relax now, but for whatever reason, she can't. As for Patti LaBelle, I'm glad that she has the freedom to come and go as she pleases. We love her. She transcends generations. I don't think there will ever be a time when people grow tired of Patti LaBelle. That will just never happen. Stephanie Mills has said that this has been a really fun time in her life. She's making more money now than she ever did in her career. She's able to bring her son with her on the road, and she seems to be in a very happy place. And I wish her continued success. As for Miss Glattis Knight, my heart hurts for her. The Queen's Tour wraps in October. The other queens will go rest and they go back on the road for their separate shows starting in November. But Miss Glattis returns to work October 24th. She will be in Tallahassee, Florida, and then Biloxi, Mississippi on October 25th. And the dates keep going on. I don't even know what to say about that. Except that I stand with her son Shanga. She shouldn't be working like that. And I hope her daughter Kenya is advocating for her as well. Even if it stays behind the scenes, the public doesn't have to know everything. Her eldest son, Jimmy Newman III, managed her career at one point through his Newman Management Incorporation until his death from heart failure on July 10th, 1999 at age 36. But that is it, friends. This is part 2, and don't worry, I know a lot of you recommended certain artists that you wanted to see. If they weren't featured here, don't worry, I will be making more videos. And to those of you wondering where the men are at, yes, I will be doing videos on male artists too. Drop some names in the comment section of any artists you'd like to see next. As for this video, what do you think about the Queen's Tour and these 4 incredible women? And if anyone has attended their shows, I would love to read all about your experience. And what is your opinion on artists touring at this stage in life in general? Let me know down in the comments. I can't wait to read them. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time. Oh, and please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.